What's going on, everyone? Charlie here. So what we have on the screen here is options data that I've pulled from the OCC, or the Options Clearing Corporation. Now, this is the website here. I'll link this below if you want to test this out. Basically, what we're doing is we're seeing when calls and puts were bought for a specific expiration date, and we can measure the data by month, by day, or by week. So what you do is you take this script example, you copy it, and you put it in your browser. And then the way this works is you take the specified fields like report date. You want to take this. It's set currently by default to 2019-0531. So we want to do 2021. Let's start with this month, 01-11 for November. Format equals CSV. That's what you want. Volume query type will stay at O. Symbol type will stay at GME, obviously. Symbol type is going to be GME, not IBM. Report type is M, D for daily, M for monthly, W for weekly. We're going to do M for monthly to get the most data. Account type, we're going to want to put all. So instead of, you can do options or underlying, you'll want all or both to get more data. I'm sorry, for account type, you can either get customers, firms, or market makers. You'll want to do all to get the most data. Product kind, you want to do all as well. And then P or C just means put or call. You want to do both. So account type all, product type all, P or C both. And now lastly, for the contract date, that's the expiration date you're looking to measure. So we're going to put 2021, 11, 12. And if you enter it, it makes a CSV file for you with all the data that you just queried. Query. Oh, wow. There's been no contracts written for next week this month so far. So that's interesting shit. Now, if we look at the stuff from this week, I went ahead and pulled all of the data I could find, and it goes back only to August, unless they wrote some this week. Let's check for this week. So 2021, 11/05, and measure for November. Let's see if there's any written this week. Nope. Okay, so this is literally it right here. So now what we do, we take this. They were written in November and October, and they started writing these at the very end of November. So these contracts have not been alive very long at all. So now we're going to analyze this data. And we can see here that P or C, C accounts for the majority of quantity, meaning it's a bullish outlook. We have more calls. Now these could be sold calls. So again, P or C, C accounts for the majority of quantity. Quantity increases over account date or actual date. So we see here, this is the first day they were written, and then we see them progressively go up to here, right? And then as soon as we get to the end of October, no more written. Now let's look at the exchanges they were done on. Let's see which exchange bought the most. Looks like MIAX Pearl did. But in order of here, these are all your SROs right here. In order from basically least to most as far as who's buying what. Put or call. Let's take this crap off so we can see it. So right here, this is your quantity of puts and calls. You have your calls here, your puts here on this side. So it's just a very useful tool to gather some data and just see what the market makers are thinking. So we didn't get any contracts for this for next Friday that were written this month. What about if we did last month? Okay, so we put 2021, 01, or I'm sorry, 10/01. We get a new file. Surely there's some in October. There you go. Okay. So there's a shit ton of these written. So you can see now for next week, let's look at the quantity. So total quantity, we have 39,454 contracts, okay? Excuse me. Now let's compare that to what we just looked at. This one is 158,000 contracts. What was this one? Then remember, this is aggregate of all of the months written. This is between September and October. So total for the options expiring this week, we had a total of 158,422 contracts written. Now, let's go back to the one we just pulled. Well, we're already at 40,000. We've only measured October. So now what do? Let's measure November simply by changing one thing. Go to 2021. Instead of 10, put 909. A new CSV file, and now we can measure September. I mean, that's not a lot. That's one page. One page written in September. And it was all on the same day. So there you have it. Bull cycle, baby. Bull cycle. So now what we do is we put this data we just pulled, and we put it underneath this data. And now we measure again, see what the verdict is. So total is 39,590. Let's see how many calls and puts there were. And to do that, we just simply organize by alphabetized here, A to Z, expand the section. So how many calls are there? Let's see. Okay, that's the halfway point. We have 623 calls and 526 puts. Boom, boom. But yeah, that's basically how you check options data. You can derive a lot of information from this. I use this query in my trading strategy quite a bit, and it helps me make plays quite frequently. Before I go, let me do one more. Let's do August just to see. I doubt that there's going to be any because we saw all that one date stacked on the 30th, but you never know. Let's see what happens. Yeah, so no contracts were written for this next coming week before the 30th of September. So interesting shit. I'm going to keep digging into this. I'll try to put a model together that kind of shows this in more detail. But anyways, I'll link the OCC batch below so you can take a look.